Here is your first look and our first impression of Ubisoft's next Prince of Persia title, the Rogue Prince of Persia. Yo, it's your boy James from XpectoGO, bringing you guys the latest and greatest in fun and positive gaming content. Special thanks to Ubisoft and Evil Empire for inviting me to their virtual hands-on preview of the Rogue of Prince of Persia. The Rogue of Prince of Persia is a 2D fast-paced action platforming roguelike game developed by the expert and passionate team of Evil Empire. The developers of the game Dead Cells, a critically and financially successful game that sold over 850,000 copies during its early access period alone on Steam, eventually reaching 10 million units sold in 2023. Now, the Rogue of Prince of Persia releases first in early access on Steam May 14th, 2024, which is right around the corner, before releasing on other platforms at a later point. Evil Empire states that the goal of the early access is to work and collaborate with an engaged community of players, refine what could be improved further, and identify favorite content additions to create the best possible version of the game. The story in the Rogue Prince of Persia has the prince, son of King Peroz, facing a catastrophic situation that he has partially provoked. The kingdom's capital has been invaded by the dreaded Huns, master of shaman magic. To save the people, you, the prince, must rely on your wit and your bola's extraordinary power, which allows you to time travel back in time to avoid certain death. Attempt after attempt, you as the prince will explore different biomes, master new weapons, equip new trinkets, upgrade your gear, and find new allies until you prove yourself as the ultimate hero. The virtual hands-on preview of the Rogue Prince of Persia was fun. The event started with a 10-minute video of the game director introducing the game, its gameplay, its narrative, and even its origins with some backstory from Evil Empire and on how they were able to land the development of such a dream IP, that being Prince of Persia. After that, I got to play a little over 30 minutes of the Rogue Prince of Persia on PC using my PS5 controller. Now, they didn't let us capture our own gameplay footage, but they did give us a ton of footage to use for the video, and I'm able to talk about it. And what I can say is it's addicting. One of the first things that stood out while playing the Rogue of Prince of Persia was its unique look. Apparently, it's taking its art direction inspiration heavily from the Franco-Belgian comic scene in Europe. And the way they animate their art style into the game is just seamless. Another thing that hit me initially was the music. This game's soundtrack slaps. I'm not even going to try and describe it just because I feel like I'm not going to do it justice, but I promise you, you're going to be vibing to each song for each map location. I got to experience 3 different biomes and map locations, and each one's soundtrack was sick. Speaking of map and biomes, I gotta mention the controls. The controls for traversal and movement around the biomes were simple and smooth, similar to the controls of Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which came out earlier this year. It felt good to wall run again, which was a huge thing to see, a staple in the franchise. And the Rogue Prince of Persia allows you to wall run on foreground walls as well, which was a pleasant surprise for a platformer and side-scroller type game. Definitely coming in clutch when traversing the platform puzzles and platform traps you will run into. Combat felt the same way, simple and smooth, with basic attacks, combos, charge attacks, and attacks that covered ground. The best part, though, in my opinion, of the combat was strategically picking upgrades found periodically around the map or location. You'd come across the medallion upgrades randomly that would boost 1 or 2 of the 4 possible upgrade slots you were allowed to carry during our playthrough, enhancing not only your weapons, but also your health and more. And the fact that they upgraded already previously upgrades, this was something I was not expecting. Now, those upgrades and enhancements do disappear when you die, having you start over again with 0, which gets to the part of the game I honestly found addicting. As a newcomer to the roguelite gameplay style, I gotta say the challenge is addicting. If you don't know, roguelite games utilize some rogue gameplay features, like in the case of the Rogue Prince of Persia, permadeath, and procedurally generated maps, having no carryover progression with weapons or anything. So because of this roguelite gameplay style, the map you were just on for existence before you died has now changed. Enemies and platforms are in different locations. That also goes for the upgrades that you might have come across and the healing locations, to which I honestly found fascinating and addicting, wanting to see how far I could go without dying, bettering my gameplay and overall strat when approaching that level again. And that wasn't even the best part. I found out dying is just as important as getting through the level. And that's because you progress the story when you die and other levels, allowing the player or you to not feel like a failure for dying, which I honestly did a lot of because I'm not used to this style of play so far. But in certain moments of death, you are rewarded for gameplay notes, new allies you might come across, and again, new levels. I honestly thought that was a genius aspect of gameplay and a feature I was not expecting to enjoy as much as I did. Again, I died a lot. I gotta say, having only played a little over 30 minutes of the Rogue Prince of Persia, it left me wanting more of its soundtrack, more of its art design, more of its combat, and just overall roguelite features that I'm still new to. And so I'm definitely looking forward to playing some of the game on May 14th during this early access period. I want to say again, thanks to Ubisoft and Evil Empire for inviting me to the virtual hands-on preview of the Rogue Prince of Persia. If you want more content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit the like button for more fun and positive gaming content. And it honestly greatly supports the channel when you do so. Just like our Patronus Squad members who support daily, specifically Mech and Parrish, who supports our channel, especially over on Discord. Another way to support the channel is to check out the video to your right, featuring our first impressions of the new Star Wars Outlaws story trailer and our reaction to it. Thank you guys so much for watching the video and hanging out with your boy. I'll see you on over there. I'll see you in the next one. Until next time.